something awesome, and that only happened in a another obsidian shard, awesome, and that only was added in sort of a later update in the underworld quite recently. Like I said, I think it was Halloween last year that they did it, or the year before, I can't remember. That's quite bad, isn't it? But yeah, Menzies, we'll hear a lot about him, and we'll learn a fair bit about him. We'll probably learn more about his armies, though, to be honest. But we'll never meet him, so who knows what he is? Is he a god, a demigod? What do you guys think? Anyway, there we go. So that's the second quest we've completed. We basically cleared out this Eternal Forge. And we meet this guy here called the Eternal Forge Master, who is A, a spirit, and B, as you might not have guessed, a centaur. So he's a centaur that basically can craft the best armor ever, essentially. He says, you have helped rid the Temple of War of the vile servants of Menzies. For this I do deem you worthy to receive armor crafted at the forge in the center of the temple. Bring to me the materials required, and I shall create for you whatever armor you desire. So this is the armor I was talking about. This is called Obsidian Armor. This is the most expensive, most highly prestigious armor you can get in the game. It costs a lot. Getting it gives you a point for your Hall of Monuments for Guild Wars 2. I am sorry, I did a lot of debating and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to get Obsidian Armor in this video. For a long time I thought I would, but I'm not going to, because Matt Greenspring's already got a lot of armor. Basically, the second that I decided that this was going to have to be done on Matt Greenspring was the moment I realised I wasn't actually going to be able to get the armor myself. I am sorry about that. If you want to go to the wiki and look at the armor doesn't like look huge and badass. It literally is just a prestigious thing. A lot of the Obsidian Armor doesn't really look that much better than, say, what we're wearing right now. Visually, it's not that impressive. It's just literally a status thing. And this is the main reason, this was the main incentive for people to come and do these elite missions at launch, because this was the only thing in the way of elite content when the game first came out. The idea was you'd complete loads of the underworld, and you'd complete loads of the Fissure of Woe for the materials, or you'd farm them, get money, and then buy the materials. And then you'd be able to get this armor, and this was like the very best thing you could do. And to this day, it's still very, very expensive, very difficult to get, because you need so many materials for it, and they're in such high demand. It's hardly questionable. Anyway, we can't actually craft it yet. I'll demonstrate it when we get to it. We have to complete more quests, despite what that quest dialogue just said. So he says, Menzies, the Lord of Destruction, will not rest while we hold the Temple of War. So he'd somehow captured it. These next few quests are going to go over how he captured it. There can be no doubt that he will launch a new attack very soon. Balthazar will send new temple guards shortly. In the meantime, will you remain and fight off the next wave of Shadow Army invaders? Okay, I'll protect the temple. Now this quest is boring as hell. It was supposed to be really difficult when it first came out, and you can kind of just imagine how long from quests like this, you can see how long and sort of sluggish the gameplay was at release. So basically you've got two groups. One is on the south, if you can call it south, out here in the mist. Who knows what south really is. There's another thing, by the way. Here's the skybox. There you go. It's actually quite nice here, isn't it? It's a bit weird. I always like looking at it, particularly because in the Fissure of Woe, I think you can actually see there's a sun somewhere. I think there's a sun. Anyway, yeah, so basically you've got a group to the north and a group to the south, and slowly, in very small groups of them, are going to split off and move up and try and take out the Forge Master. Now, I can, and in one of my tests I did do it, you can literally, if you're quick enough, just run down and take out the whole group down there all at once and just be done with it, and then come back up before they come and attack. Or you can just stand here and AFK it. It takes ages. So, for instance, we killed that group. I didn't even have to focus on them. We killed them that easily, just like a click of the finger, they were dead. And look at how long it's taken for the other mobs to come. It takes ages. Like, so when this originally came out, ArenaNet were expecting players to be stuck in sort of a really long fight with these things for ages, and just as you finished, the new ones were coming, or something like that. It's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, basically this is it. So you can AFK. I'm just going to cut. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys for a second, cut it, and when we come back, they'll all be dead, because you don't have to do anything. Just stand here at the Eternal Forge Master and you'll be done. And during this cut, I'm going to process all this footage I've already done. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, I'm back. Cool. That was actually quite nice. It was a little bit of a break. My throat was getting a little bit sore, so already, yes, I know, it was only about half an hour. But I did spend a long time, probably too long, on that first part of the episode. Anyway, right, so we get another empty chest that I always like to click anyway, I don't know. I don't know. But basically, yeah, they all died. All I had to do was stand there AFK, and we can speak to the Forge Master again. See, why is he a centaur? Why is he a centaur? That's so cool. I never would have expected that. But he is, and just, oh, well, whatever. Speak to him. behold, new temple guardians have arrived. Balthazar will not forget how you helped safeguard the Temple of War in this time of need. So we've kicked Menzies' forces out, and we've held it from his new forces. So cool. And now it will actually be defended. Basically, essential NPCs like the Forge Master, if they die in the Fissure of Woe, and in fact that first guy we met, Rastagan, he will wait in that Tower of Courage right at the start, and if you don't clear those fields carefully, you can he can actually be aggroed and die, and you will be kicked out of the Fissure of Woe. In fact, there's this amazing screenshot of basically now, since updates, when you complete the Fissure of Woe or the Underworld, you get like a nice big chest that you can open, and there are some very rare items, and there's this amazing screenshot of somebody getting something really rare, but Rastagan dies right at the last moment. So he's clicked the chest, but before he can pick up the item, they all wipe. So yeah, do watch out for that if you're playing here. But anyway, my original point was that now he's got people to help defend him. You can't speak to them; they have no dialogue. But there are Eternals. These are probably the most Eternals you'll ever see. So lots of Eternals here. Alright, so the next quest will go over how actually Menzies got control of this awesome forge here. In fact, we get two. You may look on these Eternals as heroes, Matt Greenspring, but it's far easier to destroy than it is to create. So, not quite sure what to think about Balthazar's army. I'm still not really that sure what to think about Balthazar. If on the previous episode you did, check out what I had to say on Balthazar by clicking that annotation. Or if you remember that story of Balthazar being outsmarted by a Canthan hero and then being killed. It is a bit weird. It makes me wonder whether Balthazar's really... It strikes me that all of, like, except for Grenth, every single male god you hear about becomes corrupt and evil. If you actually look at the god lineup come Guild Wars 2 after Cormier, nearly all of them are women. And even Balthazar, one of the only guys, one of two, sounds like a bit of a dick. So, I don't know. Don't know what ArenaNet's trying to say there. Anyway, right, enough faffing about. We get two quests. Kobe the Betrayer. We actually get three. There's another one down below. But we're going to do Restore the Temple of War. Here at the heart of the Temple of War are forged the very arms and armour of the gods. That's cool. This most sacred of places has been defiled. During the brief period, while the vile shadow army of Menzies usurped the temple, they choked the pure fires of the forge with the vile miasma used to imbue all their weapons with an unholy taint. Though they have been driven from the temple, the source of this corruption remains in the tunnel that feeds the forge. Go to the tunnel and purge it of all seeds of corruption. Okay, I'm on my way. So it's the next quest actually where we learn how he took it. What's really cool about this is this idea of the armour of the gods that I like is, and I've mentioned it a couple of times recently, but do you remember at the Ruins of Moira mission when we were fighting Varesh in Nightfall? We actually learnt about... we could actually see, in the distance, Abaddon's original armour. Obviously, when we fought and killed Abaddon at the end, he was all corrupted and crazy. I'm not sure how clear I was while I was Let's Playing Nightfall, but Abaddon wasn't always like that. He used to be a human. He used to be a human shape, just like we see the statues of the other gods are. Maybe some of them have got wings, like Duena and Melandru. Maybe Grenth has got a skull for a head, and as I said in that other episode, we don't really know whether that's because... Grenth was, before becoming a god, Grenth was a race of people that had skulls for heads, or not. But in any case, they're all pretty humanoid. Abaddon, as we saw him, wasn't at all. I mean, think of the murals, think of everything that Malcor built. They were humanoid, and Abaddon was as well at one point. But when we eventually fought him, and he had armor. But when we another shard. But when we eventually fought him, he'd just kind of gone crazy. So I don't get the impression that the gods are those kind of giant, messed up things, because they're generally not, as far as I can see. It's interesting now. Oh, God. Ow, 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 ow. Jesus, something's different. What have I changed? Have I changed something? Man, I just literally just breezed through this before. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm not breezing through it. Because, oh, look at all those shadow beasts. Because at the end of the day, I'm actually going to try fighting them. At the end of the day, it is hard. I wouldn't want to give anyone trying it themselves the wrong impression. But what was I saying? Yeah, I was kind of talking myself a little bit onto the idea of how gods are created. Sort of now that we've seen Nightfall and we know for a fact that gods can be usurped by other races, the question for me becomes, are all the gods... Yeah, we're doing fine. Are all the gods humans? Were they all at one point humans? We know that the gods like humans. We know that they like us because they didn't actually create Tyria, they just came to Tyria. But they didn't create humanity either. They just brought humanity to Tyria from a different world. So really, we're aliens on our own planet. I mean, I'm still a big enjoyer of the theory that... I mean, I've talked at length before about how the gods aren't omniscient. I'm still a great believer in the theory that the gods were kind of they were just powerful mortals essentially that found out how to traverse the mists. Maybe they usurped gods themselves, who knows. That's kind of going back into ancient history, that really you can do nothing but speculate and use your imagination. But I like the idea that these gods, these powerful people like Lord Audra, who learned how to use the mists, eventually found a planet that was completely destroyed. They saw all these extinct giants, the true giants if you remember, on just a wasteland, and I think it's a wasteland left from when the elder dragons were last awake, and they kind of had destroyed everything and fallen to sleep. So the gods came and they were like, alright, this is a cool place, we're going to see what we can do here. They terraformed it, they brought life to it, they gave magic to the races. They, that was a big mess up, and obviously ended up with Abaddon being shut down and stuff. But this is basically what happens, and they brought humanity to the world from somewhere else. Now they've left, and now the dragons are waking up come Guild Wars 2. But the question becomes, why did they pick humans? Why did they pick humans? Is it because they were all humans? Are humans originally from their home planet? I love the idea. I know a lot of people won't agree with me here because it's like a fantasy game. I love the idea of like there being another world in this universe full of humans on it. But the humans are, like we've seen in Guild Wars 2, the industrial revolutions but pretty much come. And, there's all kinds of things like the printing press and all that kind of stuff. I love the idea of somewhere in the universe, somewhere else where there are really advanced humans, maybe with a society just like ours on Earth. How cool would that be? Seriously. And they've just been like taken to Tyria somewhere. I really like that idea. It will probably never happen and you'll probably never see anything like that. But it's a nice thought, isn't it? Where are the humans originally from? Who knows? And of course, we can also bring this back to Menzies and indeed Doom and Abaddon and stuff. Like, how is Menzies involved in all of this? Was Menzies at one point... Oh, by the way, I should probably explain what I'm doing. This is the cave here. We're just rolling on through. Most of the Fissure of Woe is easy. Not just... As soon as you've got builds that are strong enough to just stomp all over everything, it's easy because most of it... There's only a couple of quests that are really scary, like they'll kick you out because of an essential NPC dying. The Underworld, on the other hand, is full of stuff like that. Most of the Fissure of Woe is just very relaxed, just running around, killing stuff. So yeah, I mean, I wonder what the hierarchy was back then. Was Menzies evil back then when they first found Tyria? Why does he know about Tyria? Does he know about Tyria? In fact, we've come to the realm of Balthazar. I don't think there's been anything to do with Tyria and Menzies sort of having an influence on it. Is there really? Well, there was the Tomb of the Primeval Kings, I guess. So he's obviously got some stake in this planet. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. Basically, this cave now, you just fight things. I think when you kill one of these Seeds of Corruptions, these are the things choking the flames that fuel the forge. When you kill these, a load of... more spiders appear, yeah, armoured cave spiders. There are also these Doubters Driders. These Driders, by the way, are... Well, we've obviously seen a fair few Driders before. There are a lot more in the Underworld, special Driders. But these Driders here, funnily enough, most things here will drop Obsidian Shards, but the Doubters Driders don't for whatever reason. I kind of feel like I've balls this up a little bit. Hold on. We're fighting these guys. That's fine. We've almost completed this quest. There's another Seed of Corruption up there, right? I'm going to quickly go back because we're near the Hunter. We're going to come this way and we're going to find a Hunter. So not all of the quests are quite clear. There's two really, this being one of them, that you get just by exploring and sort of finding a hidden little area. Like on my first test run, I did no guides. I don't, like I said, I don't really know that much about the Fissure of Woe, and I never played it that much. But so on my first test, I didn't do any guides. I just kind of wandered around for a while, and it got to the point where 10 out of the 12 quests very, very easy to do, but 2 of them are a little bit hidden. This being one of them. So we'll get this. There we go, that's them down. So yeah, do let me know what you think about all that stuff with the gods, guys. I mean, what do you think of the early days of Tyria? How did it all happen? I mean, I like to speculate about this kind of stuff, but it's kind of hard to do on the forums recently. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the people on the lore forums are quite jaded where they've sort of been doing it so long, and they tend to shoot down a lot of theories, so I never really see that much discussion about what do you guys like to think happened with the gods and stuff. Do let me know, because I am genuinely quite interested. But yeah, okay, so here's Nimrod. Nimrod the Hunter, and he's got a quest for us, which will kind of be an overarching quest as we go through the story here. So, Nimrod the Hunter. You dare range across this sacred realm as though you deserve such an honour. Protected by Balthazar's eternal servants, it's no wonder you survive your encounters with the Shadow Army. I have come, aided by no god, to hunt prey worthy of my skills, the shard wolves of this realm. 7 have I slain in my first day here. Could you do the same? I too shall slay 7 shard wolves. Okay, so there's some cool stuff to talk about with him. First, I'll just read out a little bit of trivia from Wiki. First, his name. They think on Wiki that it's probably a reference to someone called Nimrod, a renowned hunter in the book of Genesis. Also, if you look at his hairstyle and his face, this doesn't happen often with NPCs, but he's actually using entirely stuff that players can select to character creation. So if you want, you can entirely mimic what this character is. I don't know if someone's stolen the name Nimrod the Hunter, but if you want to, then that's a thing for you. But more interestingly now, on the lore side of things, he's a mortal that got here without... Oh yeah, here's a shard wolf, by the way, that's almost died on its own from a single spirit of Bloodsong. He's a mortal that without the aid of the gods has found his own way here. Okay, so he's like Lord Audra. If you remember Lord Audra, he was a very powerful mage who ended up finding out how to traverse the mists, and he opened up all these portals around the world, and I talked a lot about that during the Tomb of the Primeval Kings, and eventually everybody started to hate him for it, and he ended up dying, and there was that whole story. But basically we've now got evidence of another mortal who's done it, which is really cool. It makes me wonder, how hard is it actually to do it without having the gods help you get here? I mean, we seem very reliant on it, but it seems like barely anyone can do it. But he's a hunter. He's not even, like, as far as we can see, he doesn't really have an amazing affinity for magic. So is he lying to us? It's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, the other nice thing to think about is, where's he from? Okay, we can immediately think straight away, oh, he's obviously from Tyria. But is he? I mean, I was talking just now about other humans that are obviously from some other world out there. I mean, we don't have any extended dialogue with him. Maybe he's not just from Tyria. Maybe he's from somewhere else. I mean, that's a really cool idea for me as well. Maybe he's a human from a completely different world, and we just happen to not ask him. And maybe on that world they've all figured out how to traverse the mist a whole lot better than we have. In any case, I think he's a cool character. The quest itself isn't that cool. It's like he's kind of hidden. It's annoying because he's kind of hidden. So he's going to be one of those guys that you can easily miss if you're not looking at a guide. And just because of the nature of the quest, basically you go around slaying these shard wolves, right? And they're in every single major region of the Fissure of Woe. If you've done everything else already, all the other quests, you're just going to have to backtrack the whole time. So that's why I came here and got this first. And we'll be able to go back and speak to Thingy at the Tower of Courage soon and continue on. So anyway, there we go. We've actually finished restoring the Temple of War here. There's a region just through here called the Beach. I think it's called the Beach. I can't quite remember. But basically, there's no quest here at all. There is someone here, and I'll show you. But there's no real quest here. The only reason you ever have to come here is to kill a shard wolf, and that's why I came through the cave, and then I was like, oh shit, I've done something wrong, because I remembered that there's a shard wolf that spawns if you get the quest. The shard wolves don't spawn unless you get the quest, just so I'm clear about that. So basically, even though we've completed restoring the temple, I'm going to keep pushing on through here, and we're going to come to this area. And it's a shame that there's no quest to do here. It looks like they wanted to put them here, and I'll explain why in a second, but it just turns out that they genuinely aren't. But it's a cool environment. Like, as you can see, we're coming out the cave to the waterfall. There's actually a shortcut here. You can come south from when you start, and it will take you there, which is pretty cool. I guess you could go that way, actually. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. I guess you could go that way, so you didn't have to do the quest to open this gate here, so you could get down. But whatever the case, this is the way I did it. So we've almost killed all of the spiders as well, if you're wondering. Let me just check my team's okay. Yep, cool. I swear that's going to be the death of me. I don't know, since I started doing this Let's Play, I get annoyed with the party window there. I'm annoyed at this compass here as well, to be honest. I wanted it a bit smaller, but then you guys wouldn't be able to see anything on YouTube. So I do get the feeling that if I'm going to play with a UI mechanic on, like you remember in Prophecies at certain points I played, but with the compass so small only I could see it, and by the time it got onto YouTube it was so small none of you guys could recognise it. I do now kind of have the stance, hey, if I can see it, I should probably have it big enough so that the people on YouTube can as well. So that's why that's there. But yeah, the party window, I'll probably die later because I've got it off, but whatever. Alright, so here you find lots of ancient scales. Not much to talk about with these from like a lore perspective. Oh shit, more spiders spawned as we walked out. There's not much to talk about these from a lore perspective, except for the fact that this is kind of confirmation that they're not just native to Tyria, they're all over the place, unless someone like Lord Audra took them from Tyria, and now they've come here, the mists have kind of corrupted them. Because obviously the mists are like, they're so weird, they like strive towards creation and stuff, so it's all very odd. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about, can I actually see him? Did we kill the shard wolf here, by the way? No, we didn't. Oh, I think it's further up. Yeah, basically there's nothing here. The mechanical thing that you can talk about with these scales is they're actually creatures that have got 2 elite skills. You don't get many of those in this game, and obviously it's a bit of a slap in the face to players because we can never have 2 elite skills, we can only have 1. But these guys have got 2 and they rub it in our face whenever, well, with whatever chance they can get. Where the hell am I? I don't remember. Oh, I went the wrong way. I was supposed to go right, not left. Whoops. Or left, not right. The other thing is, they're not the only guys with 2 elite skills here. There are actually some others. They're called driftwoods, which I'm hoping to find in a minute. We'll have to kill all these spiders. Look at them all. Spiders don't do that much damage, as far as I can tell. They're annoying because they savage shot and stuff, but otherwise, you're pretty much going to be fine. So I guess I quite like this area. It's sort of contending for my favourite spot in the whole Fissure of Woe, just because of these ships that have crashed. I like it when you're out in places like this, like the Ravenheart Gloom. As I said, it's said that it's an endless expanse of darkness, and it might somehow be connected to the underworld, which suggests that there's like a physical way to move. Well, in a way, I guess, but there is a way to move from one of these realms, one of these afterlives, to another. And this is just like one of those perfect examples. If you were really here, if you were like really here and you were stuck in the Fissure of Woe, you guys can't tell me you wouldn't eventually want to build a boat and try and sail out there and see what's on the horizon. I mean, that's such a cool thought to me. Maybe that leads somewhere. And I mean, people have tried it. Look at all these shipwrecks. People have tried it. They've all died, as far as we can see. Volcano over there, that's another sort of section that we'll be going to later. But it's cool. Alright, anyway, so more Doubters Driders. There's the Shard Wolf. There he is. Where are these driftwoods? I know that there's a lot here. Oh, there's some driftwoods. They've got these snarling driftwoods. They've got 2 elite skills as well. I think you only actually find those here on the beach as well. Anyway, as I said, the only reason to come here is to kill the shard wolf. It's kind of balanced out a little bit because there was a quite famous farm. I don't know how much people do it anymore. That people used to do here for obsidian shards. So despite that, people who come in here to do quests wouldn't really care about the beach, but people here to farm, it did have its purpose, which is quite cool. But the main reason why nobody comes here is because there's no quests here. However, there is this NPC here. At launch, and for a long time after launch, this guy has always been here, but he didn't have anything to say. Like, he had no dialogue at all, which suggests that ArenaNet wanted him there to be a part of a quest, but then they forgot, and then it didn't happen. Then, about a year after that, or maybe a little bit less, and maybe a little bit more, they did add dialogue to him. So this is Admiral Saidan the Eternal, Admiral. So maybe one of the owners of one of these ships or something. He says